'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. Too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden road, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises, you know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess, found myself in my regrets, I've become a little strong.
Hello folks, and welcome to Raceface GT4 Season 1. My name's George, and we are jumping into our qualifying session here. The guys have had a practice session already. If you guys could just give me an audio check, that would be great. Just let me know how the audio sounds. If you need an adjustment, give a little holler. I'll try my best to just fix up the audio if we have any problems with that. If there's any sorts of mic issues, let me know about that as well. So firstly, let me just welcome you guys here. Of course, Raceface taking over the Dominus League that was going to happen in the GT3 series, and we've switched it up for a GT4 series instead. Thursdays will then be the Raceface GT3 round, so I'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll be back again at Barcelona again. So it's an exciting round of racing coming up for the next 6 weeks. 6 rounds of GT3s, 6 rounds of GT4s, all at the same circuits every week, so that the drivers don't have to adjust anything. And for now, we're just going to follow JC Grobler out on his outlap. We're going to start to see what these guys can do here today. Of course, they've only got 16 minutes left of this qualifying to go and set a lap. And then after that, they will be heading over to a 45-minute sprint race. So a little bit shorter than what we usually do at Raceface for sure. And I'm excited, really. 45 minutes of sprint racing in GT3s. It's going to be absolutely insane here today. So I'm just going to follow JC Grobler around, as he will be our first car that will be setting himself a lap here today. And we're going to see what he can do here. Obviously, he is in that Vantage GT4, an Aston Martin representative. I saw him sitting quite high up on the timing sheet during pre-practice. So looking forward to seeing what quite a few of these guys managed to do here today. Oh, he's not actually going to be our first time. He invalidated his lap. It will be Charles Wilkin to go over the line with a 153.4 to get a provisional pole position on the first lap, followed up with Bruno Cadidi. He's going to do a 153.802. Then Jason Absmeyer with a 153.880. So just behind Bruno there, Victor de Kock also there in 4th position with a 153.9. But this man, Charles Wilkin, the man so far to be sitting at the top of the leaderboard on his first lap. Of course, things are going to shift up as these GT4 cars get themselves up to temperature in their tires and their brakes. And we've seen the grip levels increase during the qualifying sessions as well. So just bear that in mind, that these times are provisional. They will change up as the qualifying grip levels increase. We see Strauss off track following Wilkin around. I do see that Bruno Cadidi is currently up on his lap time. So let's see what Jason Absmeyer up on his lap time as well by 2/10. So this isn't going to get him pole position off of Charles Wilkin. He's found a 3rd 10th coming through the fast right-hander. Coming down to the braking zone now, driving around in a Ginetta. Not a car that I would have expected Jason to pick himself, but both Jason and Bruno from White Rabbit, my team, have decided to go for the Ginettas in the GT4 series. So excited to see what the Ginettas can do. It is a field of lonely Ginettas, of course. Everybody else picking up some pretty well-known manufacturers on top of this. Jason's found 5/10 through the final chicane here. He's lost a 10th, so he's gone down to 4/10 up on his lap time. That could just barely be enough to get pole position here off of Charles Wilkin. Will it be enough? He's going to cross the line. It will be enough. It's only enough by 500ths of a second. Jason Absmeyer flying here today. Charles Wilkin, is he up on his lap time? He's not. He's crossed the line. He did better himself with a 153.472. Have a little run down the order. Of course, we've seen Bruno for White Rabbits, Victor de Kock for VK Motorsport, the The number 897 Camaro here, currently sitting in 4th position, blue and white livery, quite easy to spot out. Then we've got the first of our AMP to play Rensport drivers in the form of Christos Basan, the number 37 M4. Daniel Rowe for G4 Sim and Motorsport Technic, the number 4 Cayman. So our first Cayman on the grid order here today, going through the quick turn 3. So going down the order, we've got Johan Grabler for TTH, Team Tryhard Racing, the number 15 Audi in that pretty easy to spot out yellow and black Audi. That's Jared van Bergen. I'll probably obliterate the Afrikaans in it. The 777 BMW. Mark Antal for Retro Sim Slipstream. The 111 M4. So quite a few M4s on the grid, of course. Ryan Ottens, the first driver here for Kaikei Racing. Tebo Malorto's team, the 164 AMG. The new Kaikei colors being represented out here. I've seen them in the EU leagues, and now we get to see them locally. That very dominant purple with a splash of red coming out. Darren Peens, the 171 Cayman. He does not have a team on his livery sheet, so I'm not sure if he is in a team at the moment. But if he does, I'll just ask him to update that in his livery so it's easy to follow around. For Bullet Racing, Mornay Deploy, the number 33 AMG here. Dao Gaba for Team Tryhard, of course, the 696. He's in that Aston Martin. Hansi Myberg in that number 44, currently sitting in 17 for Micro Racing Works. His teammate will pop up shortly, I'm sure. Sean Schutter, the 113, for EKZ Motorsports. And I see they've changed their livery colors. They've gone a little bit more Lumo, and I'm not going to complain about the EKZ choice coming out here from Schutter. Beautiful looking M4. Switching over to LaRue, Nathan in the 213 for Team Hicks. That will be the Audi in 21st position now. We only have 11 minutes of quali, so we'll run back through the order as soon as we've gone through everybody. Sebastian Janssen, the number 64, Aston Martin, green and black, very dashing, and an NVIDIA-inspired livery. I always have to choose one, it feels like. Another amped to play Rensport driver, Stark Buerta, the number 81 M4 in 24th position. Orne Strauss, we saw him off track earlier. We're going to now see him on track. He's currently in 25th. He is 6/10 up on his lap time, so we might be able to just follow him through the last sector of the track. He's trying to keep that M4 AMG under control. He's still up on his lap time, half a second up. So this could jump him all the way up to the potentially into the top 10 if he finds a little bit more through the final chicane. He does find another 10th on the exit 2. So very clean lap, looking like it's coming out from Mr. Strauss. And the number 55 AMG will cross the line shortly. Let's see where he pops out. He was in 26. He will go up to 17th. So he's done okay to get up to there. Stuart Andrews for Hot Fuzz in Hot Fuzz GT4. The 889 Aston Martin here, dragging it down next to Hunter down the start finish straight, trying to get some quali position in. Mr. Malorto, he's in a Janetta. And I said there was a lonely Janetta there before. And I'm glad to see Mr. Tsebo has picked something a little bit different as well. Sitting in 29th position at the moment. He's 1.2 seconds up on his lap time. Potentially could be a timing screen bug. Or he has found that time. He's not normally 4 seconds down, but he's cooked it quite hard on the right-hander and picked up a lot of curb as well as some of the brake markers. So Malorto will be sent back to the pits. Then we've got Ken Hunter, the number 45 black and red AMG in 30th. Warwick Stewart in the pits at the moment in the gold-themed Cayman. And at the bottom of the grid, we've got Stephen Tablanche, number 92, as we round up the grid order here with the last Aston Martin. 9 minutes left of quali. Let's see what's potting up at the top, because it's quite important. Mr. McCall, Morgan McCall, who we did not see on our little run through, of course, the 80k driver. Let's just have a little squiz in an all blacked out, a murdered AMG. It looks mean. The Triple H here sitting in pole position with a 153.1, so 2/10 quicker than Absmeyer, almost 3/10 quicker than Absmeyer. Abzma and Kedili in second and third, just behind the pace. Bruno is up a 10th on his time at the moment. This potentially could steal that second position off his teammate Jason. Going through turn 5, he's lost a 10th again, so he's sort of evened out his lap time. Down through the tricky left-righter. Don't want to take too much curb, but still in the GT4 is a little bit more lenient to do so. So as Bruno stays even on his time, Johannes Greiling for Retro Team Slipstream in the M4. He's up on his lap time. He is only just starting his lap, so he's already managed to find 310s. He's looking quite deep through turn 3, and it will punish him as well. He will lose just 1/10 going down through there, and that will be more for Greiling. He's going to bin it off, and that will be the end of that potentially good lap. Darren Peens, the 171 Cayman. I am a fan of the all grey. Very, I don't even know. It appeals to my kitchen is themed like this. I don't know if that's a good example, but Porsches and the favorite color scheme in my kitchen. I've got a little bit more black in the kitchen, but very retro. Not really retro. Very modern. I like it. Peens goes across the line, jumps up into 11th place as well. Does a 154.255. So good lap time coming out from Peens. With 7 minutes left to quali. Really anybody's shootout at the front here. I mean, you can see 1st to 8th place separated by under a second. Christos Besson potentially could better his lap time as well. He's out on track. Darren Peens again stays up a 10th into turn 3. So we'll just follow with him and see if he manages to find a little bit more. Down the order, Bastian Janssen, a driver I'm not familiar with, is also up his time. He's just lost it as I go over with my commentators first. Richard van Kaller, of course, the man here from Sandbag Racing. An apt name for a man who should not be in 16th place. Definitely sandbagging out here. 6 minutes to go of quali. He's coming into the final chicane. That's very wide. That's going to invalidate his lap, I'm sure. Oh, quite wide. It might not be. He's still 3/10 up. So potentially hasn't invalidated it. Oh, he has. It shows us on the map that he has. No, it doesn't. It doesn't show us that he's invalidated. So he's in 16th. Will he cross the line and better his time? It wasn't an invalidation. Jumps up to 12th. So almost into the top 10 for... Ooh. The other McCall is here to play, ladies and gentlemen. So the other ATK representative, the youngster on the grid here today, the number 144. It's 1.3 seconds up on his time. That potentially is, again, timing screen error. But if he's 1.6 seconds up here, he's going to obliterate Morgan's time. Take one to his older brother. I feel like it is a bit of an invalidated lap. Points. Warren Lee Sheehan, and a driver I'm again not familiar with. So nice to see some new faces here in Raceface. Always cool to get to see the South African scene growing. For me, that has always been the goal behind this project. And it is just phenomenal to see how many drivers have been signing up to all the different leagues. GT3 tomorrow night is going to be insane. I cannot wait for that to pop off. It's going to be an absolute knife fight in the GT3 class, but the GT4s, that's something that we haven't seen before. That means that's always a little bit exciting, right? First GT4 league race in South Africa that I've got to get my eyes onto, my hands, my eyes, my broadcasting eagerness. And it is going to be an absolute cracker. I can see so by the names that we have featured here. Of course, some new names as well. But some really good names featured in sim racing. Would have loved to see some of the other drivers that we do see in other leagues. I miss the likes of Alaric Enslin, Zahir Essa, Bashir Jadwad, Chloe Claessens. You know, all of those guys. It would be great to see them out here. I'm sure they have other racing commitments. It's so hard to get into every league and then be able to really perform in all of them. You have to avoid the burnout at times. So we do see a bit of a mixed league. Jason Abzma is up to 2/10 here, and that potentially is going to get him a little bit closer to Morgan. He needs ideally 3/10 to stay clean and close, and he's found it here coming into that final couple of corners. He's just got to navigate the right-hander and then the chicane. He is 3/10 up. Potentially could do it here. Needs to make sure that this lap counts. Is approaching a slower driver of Stewart. Still has those 3/10. Goes over the chicane. Looks really nice and clean coming through. Final corner for Jason Absmeyer. 3 minutes left on the clock. Is it too wide on the exit? Only time will tell. Jason Absmeyer over the line, and he invalidates the lap there, but it was potentially good enough to get pole position. So Jason Absmeyer going to have another stab at seeing if he can top the starting positions here for the 45-minute race. White Rabbit Gaming up against ATK on the grid here in the top 3 spots. Charles Wilkin edging his way closer and closer, sits in 4th place at the moment. Plenty of colors to spot out the Wilkin Mobile. As always, normally it's a Porsche. This time round, it's an Aston Martin. And I'm not even mad. The pink stripe on the side of that car with the mirrors, the rims, the little highlighted green on the outside of the rims. I think it's very unique, and it can stay here. Wilkin not up on his lap time. Bruno Kadili is up on his lap time. He could potentially... Oh no, Jason didn't invalidate his lap time the previous lap, guys. That was my bad. He was 300ths off of getting Morgan McCall there. So Bruno Kadili coming round in 3rd place at the moment. 2 minutes on the clock to try and see if he can get closer to Jason. Those 2/10s that he has currently coming out of T5 might benefit him here down the order. Let's go see Corne Strauss is also up on his lap time. He's coming down just in front of Bruno. Well, Bruno just ahead of Bruno just ahead of Strauss here. Both Strauss and Bruno Kadili up on their lap times. Bruno's lost a little bit. Strauss has kept it. He's 6/10 up at the moment. So finding some real pace coming down. This could get him close to the back of the top 10. Maybe 11th place. If he stays 6/10 up, he needs to find almost another 2/10 to get himself securely into the top 10. Stays 5/10 up coming in to that tough right-hander. It's so misleading with the camber, and you just got to try and hold on to all the speed that you carry through. Then you come down into what a lot of drivers hate about Barcelona, is the chicane. Not as much of an issue in the GT4s, obviously being able to take a little bit more of the curbing, but they do have those big anti-cuts that stop you. 7/10 up here for Strauss. This could get him into the top 10. 19th place, 9th he goes. Brilliant coming out from Corne Strauss. The number 55 AMG gets himself into the top 10. 35 seconds left of quali. The 2 drivers behind him in 10th and 11th are sitting in the pits. So unless someone can pull out something insane, which could be potentially Peens could slot himself into 10th here. Ooh, very close towards the end of quali. Rose up 2/10 on his time as well. The number 4 Cayman for G4 Sim. Sits in 6th at the moment. 3/10 for him would get him up to potentially 3rd place. Seems to have lost a little bit of it. Days a 10th up. Bruno Kadili's up at 10th. JC Krob is up at 10th. Warwick Stewart's up 3/10. Debo Malorto up at 10th as well. So coming into the last laps here, we see the qualifying timer tick down, which means that we are almost going over to the race, but it's not over just yet. 2/10 up for Kadili. He's coming down the back straight. Brake for the left-hander. Stays 3/10 up. 3/10 here. He needs almost, well, he's 3.06 off of where he needs to be if he wants to take pole. Wilkin goes up to 3rd. Will Kadili jump himself up above Wilkin here to get 3rd place back? He's 2/10 up. Will he jump his teammate Jason Absmeyer to go 2nd on the grid? Coming through the final corner now. Bruno Kadili for White Rabbit. Lost 2/10 in the final sector. Gets a 10th up, so he will secure 3rd place for White Rabbit. Starting just behind his teammate Absmeyer. Doesn't look like anyone else is out on their times at the moment. So we'll be able to pull up the timetables and see just where everyone will start. So McCall starts in pole, Absmeyer second, Kadili third, Wilkin fourth, McCall fifth, Rowe sixth, Masters 7th, 8th for De Kock, 9th for Cornet Strauss, 10th for Grobler rounding up the top 10. Then we've got Besson, Peens, Van Kolle, Grobler, Greiling, Van Bergen, Lee, Sheehan, Antal, Ottens, Schutter, Deploy, Wurtergaber, Stewart, Andrews, Myberg, Duplessis, Janssen, Leroux, Blanche, Hunter, Glashkin, and Malorto. So it is going to be absolutely incredible stuff out here. Shout out to our chat if you guys are here and cheering for anybody in particular. Let us know who your favorites are. I see Amp is here. What's up, Amp? I see Shawnee's here. I see 80's here. Hope you guys have got your popcorn ready, because I believe that the start of this race is going to be absolutely incredible. So many good names on this grid. Be able to just maybe pull them away for the starting procedure. Very excited to see how things get underway. Beautiful shot of all our GT4 cars lined up on the grid, of course. 32 drivers. It is going to be lit. It is going to be lit. 20 seconds on the clock before we start our warm-up lap. 45-minute race. Let me just remind you. 45-minute sprint race with no mandatory stops either. I really cannot wait to see how this race transpires. So driver not readying up on the pit start. Well, he will start from the pits. Myberg jumps back. Our leaders here will start to be able to pull away. McCall will lead us down the line into single file. So it's an 80k start with White Rabbit Gaming starting up in second and third with Absmeyer and Kadili, Wilkin, McCall, Rowe Masters, De Kock, Strauss, and Grobler in the top 10. That is going to be an absolute knife fight. And just outside of that, the mid-pack is all incredibly close as well. So this is going to be a good race. Of course, round one of the GT4 series hosted by Raceface.Pro, taking over the old Dominus GT3 slots on a Wednesday night. A lot of the old GT3 drivers entered into the GT4. It was perfect timing with the DLC coming out for the GT4 pack. That means that we get to do GT3s on Thursdays, GT4s on Wednesdays for 6 weeks. It's going to be incredible racing. Monday Night Racing, of course, has synced their calendar as well, which means that on a Monday night, if you want to come and join and get race prepped and race ready, the Monday servers will have each Raceface week's circuit in the rotation. So Monday night racing on the Raceface Discord, and of course always there to get people up to race speed. I really like the murdered out 888 80k Academy AMG. Really does hit me in the right place. It's got something ominous about it, starting up at the front as well, playing our safety car but not really having that same role at the same time. Morgan McCall with a blistering lap time to get pole position off of Jason Absmeyer, who was just a couple of hundredths off the back end. So we start to just see everybody coming out in single file, of course, getting themselves out. Here we've got Christos Besson in his Amp to Play BMW M4. Darren Peens will start just behind him in that Cayman. A couple of cars slowing themselves down the start-finish straight. They're following the overlay that dictates where they need to start in their relative positions. It governs the speed of our leaders. Mr. Morgan McCall will start to get everybody into double file, and 2 by 2 they will begin this race. A rolling start, of course, in the GT4 class, different to the GT3s in the fact that they get no tire warmers on the cars on the grid. So this warm-up lap is incredibly important to try and get some warmth into the tires, and it doesn't even do enough for the drivers to get up there. So turn 1 is where things could get absolutely hot and heated. There's no restarts in the Raceface series, so the drivers have been warned that it's a one-shot go. If any mistakes are made, they will be looked into by the stewards post-race. And as we wait for the lights to go green, 2x2, green lights are go. A couple of cars at the back of the grid caught almost sleeping. They weren't prepared for that. A good start coming out from Jason Absmeyer. He's going to go side by side with Morgan. Morgan going to defend that inside line. He's going to stay on that inside line. Good work from Charles Wilkin as well. He's made his way up through. He's going side by side with Bruno Kedili. Jason Absmeyer here going on the inside of Morgan. Slight touches coming out wide for Kedili. That's allowed a couple of cars to come on through. Big calamity at the back into turn 3. 3 cars go out at the back. Up in the middle of the order here, or at the front of the order, it's Charles Wilkin with a brilliant start. He's got himself up to 3rd. And it's Jason Absmeyer that takes off from the leaders. And we're going to look back here at Junior McCall. He's had a little bit of a struggle off the start. He seems to have dropped all the way back in the order. In the middle of the pack, though, it is still close racing. Let's go and see how Christos Besson has done. He's jumped himself up to 7th place in all of that shenanigans in T3. So good start coming out from Besson here. Let's try and get an updated leaderboard time. We're seeing Johan Grobler also showing that he's up on his position. He's currently fighting out with the likes of Van Coller and Strauss. He's got himself into some clean air, but it's up at the front where everything seems really close. Bruno Kedili, he lost out to Wilkin through T3, ran too wide, and now he sits back in the line of sight of Masters. Masters trying to chase back the back of that Janetta. Besson has found another position. He's up to 6th place, so big work coming out from the BMW here in the form of Christos Besson for Am to play through the chicane for the first time. They go all very clean here from our pro division, all very nice and tidy indeed. And it looks like on the end of our first lap, Jason Absmeyer for WRG in the number 90 Janetta leads things away. Morgan McCall in 2nd place, Charles Wilkin in 3rd, Bruno Kedili in 4th. He's being attacked by Masters in that AMG. Round the outside, Masters will try in the number 18. They do touch, and it will send Bruno a little bit wide. Masters continues to drive. It looks like Bruno Kedili is not unaffected, but he lost a couple of positions there. He will now have to go up against Jared van der Bergen in that number 777 BMW. He has managed to get him through T3. But Keegan Masters up to 5th place. Darren Peens, he holds on to 6th. Still side by side, it's Besson. And now it's Besson versus Masters. Masters trying to look on the inside, perhaps here. He's going to try and squeeze through. Masters trying to hold that inside line. Big work coming out from that Aston Martin. He stays alongside Besson as we switch over to our Helicam. They come down into the left-hander. Besson sees the car there, yields to him. Peens almost runs through. That's allowed the Bruno Kedili to get onto the back of Peens, but it will still be Besson trying to hold on to Masters here. Masters, a nose length ahead, runs very wide off track, picks up a bit of dirt, but he still seems to have some pace. That BMW so big on the straights, though, not so great in the brakes, and it is a late braking coming out from the number 37 of Besson, but the knife fight is not done yet. Almost got a nose to see if he can get back to Masters, but Masters seems to have got through the order there, and it does look like Masters has got the move done. Kedili on the inside of Peens there will take back a position that he lost, obviously, with that contact to Masters earlier on. Oh, there's going to be some accidents if guys try and cut the corners like that in the chicane. Everybody survives somehow. Jared van der Bergen is going to now run very wide and side by side with the number 99 of Richard van Coller. And I believe Richard is actually going to get just ahead of him. So Van der Bergen going to look on the inside, perhaps coming into T1. They still side by side coming down. Who's going to get late on the brakes? Van der Bergen is late on the brakes. Big collision, and that's going to send Van Coller off track. Let's see if we can get a little jump back of that replay there. 10 seconds back of this, and has been hit. He got hits on the inside, then got sent out wide, and a bit of a racing incident from the other driver. Couldn't really avoid it. Van Coller going to get back on track quite far down the order. Kedili, he still chases down onto the back end of Basson. He has got Peen still in his rearview mirror. Down the order as well. Let's go and see what's happening. Ryan Ottens, he's got a fight on his hand. We see 4 GT4 cars, 4 wide, coming down into T5. It will be a little bit of touching going down between the number, it's a 164 of Ottens, and I think it's Sheehan in front. And big collision, big touch coming through, and it looks like the BMW going to have a bit of an incident coming through. It looks like Butz is also facing the wrong way here. Let's see if we can get a replay of what happened here. So Butz coming down, we'll see through the back of T5, lots of GT4s in front. Let's see if we can get a onboard cam of this action with him. So it comes down. There's the collision, there's the touch. And he tried to avoid it, and he's just been he spun around on the grass there. So unfortunate circumstances coming out, and a couple of drivers being picked up here in some very close incidents that I'm sure will go to the stewards post race. Up at the front, Jason has McCall all over the back end of him. He's trying to hold him off, has half a second, or had half a second through the first sector timing slot, but that is definitely being closed down by McCall. Wilkin, a little bit behind him, a couple of car lengths down, needs to try and put the hammer down if he wants to catch up to them. It will benefit him if McCall and Absmeyer fight it out. So, to be honest, they fight out. It means that Wilkin gets closer. The number 25, Aston Martin, could potentially get in there. We've seen Keegan Masters putting in some monster lap times. He did, picked up 2 positions in the previous 2 laps, got himself up to 4th place. Still will be Basson being hassled here by Kedili. Kedili out of position after the start. He's not had a great race. Let's just be honest with that. He seemed to have lost positions running too wide, being nudged a little bit. These GT4s really can get close to each other, and we see guys really putting that to the limits here. He is getting closer to Basson. It's apex per apex. He's finding the subtle hundredths and tenths that he needs to get close to the Ginetta now in the slipstream of the BMW coming down the straight. He's going to try around the outside here, Kedili. He's going to try and see if he can stick it. He's got a lot of speed coming through. Kedili going very wide. The BMW will settle back in front, but he is trying to see where he can try and see if he can get by. The back end of this M4 is absolutely filled up with the Ginetta of Bruno. And coming down into the chicane, a little mistake from Basson, but there's not really a place to pass. So Bruno going to try and stay on the back as much as he can, see if he can get alongside if he can down the start-finish straight. But this BMW down the straights has a massive advantage over the little Ginetta motor. A little bit of slipstream for Kedili perhaps to try and work with, but it's not enough to catch up and have any sort of look coming down into T1. Johannes Grayling, he's showing up on his timing sheet that he's catching up to the back of Corne Strauss, who's sitting in front of him. But it looks like it's Victor de Kock that's going to give him a hassle first. So de Kock here coming through in that Camaro, sitting in 13th place, the 897 for VK Motorsports, trying to control the beast through the difficult right-hander, all about carrying your speed and momentum into T4 before getting onto the brakes. And the Camaro will have a brake advantage over that BMW. And running wide, there's Krayling from Retro Sim. Easy position for Victor de Kock, allows him to put his head down and start to look towards the likes of Strauss. Strauss here has a handful on his plate too. The 777 of Van Bergen and the 111 of Antel, both in BMWs up ahead. And again, this Mercedes is such a well-balanced car when taking on the BMWs. And I feel like here at Barcelona, there's not a lot of top end that the BM can make up, but the agility and the braking power of this AMG really makes up for it. And I feel like Corne Strauss has put himself in a good position here to potentially get himself into that top 10. Of course, if either driver starts putting pressure onto the likes of Van Bergen, Strauss here might be able to leapfrog himself in front. So let's keep an eye on that and see what transpires there. Down the order a little bit, Daniel Rowe in 23rd place here for G4 Sim. He's trying to have a look towards getting past that number 92 of Blanche. The Aston Martin in pink and, or let's call it purple and white, is defending against this blue Cayman. And just behind him, they've got Glashigan in the 28 Aston Martin, also looking to try and see if he can get himself up into a better position. On board with Daniel Rowe, we get to see Glashigan putting the power and the pressure on. It's always a good sight to witness. Get to hear the onboard sounds of these GT4s too. You can see sort of the slipstream effect, just how close you have to gear, and there it starts to take effect. He's going to pull alongside, he's going to try around the outside. Rowe got the inside, a little bit of squeeze trying out, but that Aston Martin just blew past the Porsche Cayman, and without even needing to enter into a dance, gets himself past. So Glashigan, an easy overtake, but he's maybe made a bit of mistake coming into turn 3. The Cayman has the advantage now. They're going to go side by side into turn 4. The number 4 on the inside. The 28, who's going to brake later? They brake identically the same, but again, good work from Glashigan to get in front of that Porsche of Rowe and just hold him back. So the defensive work coming out from Glashigan, that's going to hamper him getting towards to Blanche if he has to struggle like this for too long, or it's going to push him to get closer. Either one of those could be the option. Peens with Johan Grobler all over his back end from Team Tryhard, and the Audi here trying to get a position off of the 171 Porsche on lap 5 here of what will be a 45-minute race in total. 33 minutes left of racing. We've had some great battles up on the mid-pack, the front pack, a little bit towards the back, coming down into that chicane here at Catalunya. I don't even know where my pronunciations have gone. Catalunya. There we go. It's back. Peens. Eastel holds off. Corne Strauss. He's doing a great job. Like I said, he's still got those 2 BMWs. He needs to hold this position and wait for them to make a mistake, wait for them to put the pressure on, and he'll easily get on by. And this is what he needs. It looks like side by side, a little bit of a mistake coming out from the likes of Krailing. This might open the door up for Strauss to get a little look-see. The 111 BM slow out of T3, but it's not enough for Strauss to really capitalize on it. So not going to work out just yet. It was actually Antol that had come out slowly. My apologies. Antol has come out slowly, and it's Victor de Kock now on the charge onto the likes of Strauss. And Strauss very deep, very late on the brakes, and a good apex coming out from de Kock. This is going to possibly let him come in side by side to turn 6. And you see the brakes coming out from Strauss. He knew he wasn't going to risk it coming in. He didn't want to go side by side there with Victor. Lets him through to maybe go and put some pressure on the driver in front, and then Strauss can sit back, relax, and wait for his cup of tea to be delivered. Peens not in the same sort of boat at all. He's got himself 2 car lengths to the likes of Grobler after the long back stretch, but it's not going to be enough if Peens keeps on putting in the lap times that he is doing. So right now, Johan Grobler almost a 10th quicker in the last lap, and almost a 10th quicker in his best lap as well. So coming through the final chicane, a lot of pressure mounting onto the rear of that 171 of Peens. Grobler really wants to try and see if he can get past and make his way up. But all these drivers sitting in the top 10, loving the points so far. Up at the front, Jason Absmeyer still defends off against Morgan McCall. McCall doing a great job to keep Absmeyer honest in the number 90 Ginetta. Wilkin in 3rd place. Again, we said it, a little bit of a quiet race for our brightly coloured Aston Martin, but he will not be sad with a 3rd place finish if that's what it means. So for him, it's all about just not letting Masters catch up to him. Masters also in that same sort of position of having a bit of an empty race. He doesn't have someone to push him from behind just yet. He's waiting for Bruno to come and do that. Bruno in 5th place is on the charge. If we look at their relative lap times, last lap coming out from Masters a 154.5, Wilkin with a 154.1. and Kadili with a 154.9. So Bruno Kadili arguably slower on the last laps. Best lap times overall, however, Bruno Kadili with a 154.015, which is faster than Keegan Masters' 154.1. So if Kadili can find some pace, he potentially can find that position here on Masters. And with 30 minutes left of racing, it's potentially there. I mean, these GT4 cars, we haven't tested out their tire limits. It's quite hot here at Barcelona. I mean, to be honest, it's insane. It's 36 degrees on track, 26 degrees ambient. There's not a stitch of wind, so the tires will be screaming. 45 minutes probably good enough for them to really feel good towards the entire duration of the race. I know that with the GT3s, after an hour of racing, that last 15 minutes or 10 minutes, if you've been pushing hard, really becomes a little bit of a conserve your life couple of laps. You just want to finish the race. You can definitely feel that your braking points are affected, your turn-in is affected, the stability of the car in general is affected. So TK Raptor in chat, that means that Vancala, of course, after that incident we saw at the end of T1 on, I'm not sure what lap it must have been, probably end of lap 2, got sent off, and unfortunately didn't work out there for Vancala. Cock, he now has to Blanche past him in his rearview mirror. To Blanche still trying to have a look, goes quite deep into turn 1. That's going to impact the Aston Martin's entry into turn 3. The Victor de Cock will be very glad that Aston went deep into turn 4. So yeah, we see a battle between Freiling, Sheehan and Duploy. This is all for position, of course. Sheehan here leading the little pack. Duploy and Leroux. Oh, sorry. It will be Duploy and then Leroux, correct. But just making sure that we've got everybody on the same lap here in this battle. And they are, of course, all on lap 8. A couple of cars have unfortunately met their demise and are sitting in the pit lane. Count of 4 that have not managed to make the duration of the race. The Deploy sees Xian making a bit of a mistake. They all sort of follow him through it, though. No one able to capitalize on Xian's mistake here in the red and black number 46. Into the chicane. All big mistakes coming in. They've tapped. They've gone through. A little bit of oversteer forcing them to come by. And it looks like Deploy will slide out in front after going through the chicane. But will Leroux have the legs to get past Sheehan? Sheehan coming together there with Deploy. Of course, we've got some stewarding here to, take effect. Sheehan has some legs onto the inside of the AMG. Is he late on the brakes coming through? It does look like he's late on the brakes. It will be big for Leroux. Leroux here takes one onto Sheehan as Sheehan's going to rejoin the track. So he takes one onto Deploy. He's now side by side with the number 46 and will get the move done. So lots of pressure being put on there. And Nathan Leroux staying quite cool and collected in the green and black Audi. The 213 gets by. It still looks like Xian and Deploy are going to fight out continuously. Shout out to our chat again, of course. Ryan Gill in the chat, my fellow homie from RCI, asking if I am commentating alone. I potentially am. It might just be me and the voices in my head. But yeah, we're doing some GT4s here for Raceface.Pro. If you guys are new around here, they've got a racing series held here in South Africa on Wednesdays with the GT4s and Thursdays with the GT3s. It's a six-week season, which means that we go over to the same circuits each week in each of the classes. So the drivers that are driving in both classes only have one track to warm up with. The 45-minute sprint races here have no mandatory stops. The hour-long GT3 races have a different rule set entirely. There's a bit of ballast going through there as well. We currently look at our leader, Jason Absmeyer from White Rabbit Gaming, being pressured by the ATK Academy driver of Morgan McCall, the oldest of the McCall brothers. His brother, I don't see him on the timing sheet. One of the retirees, or is he just down? So Junior McCall sitting down in 14th place. There he is, the number 144. Sitting down the order just a little bit. So having a little bit of a problem early on, I believe. Junior was starting in the top 10, if I recall correctly. Unfortunately for him, he's had a little bit of an issue. Sheehan here seems to be on the charge as well. He's gotten past McCall. So McCall definitely struggling a little bit in that purple and black AMG. I am a fan of its color scheme for sure. But I would like to see it a little bit up the order the next time around. Junior, of course, our youngest driver here, doing great things in sim racing. And it's always sad to see him not quite where he needs to be. Oh, a little touch coming out there from to Blanche and Ottens, I believe. Was it? Or was it Anto and Ottens? I think it was to Blanche. It was to Blanche. Let's go and see what happened here. A little touchy touch coming down. I'm going to have to jump back 30 seconds to see what goes down overall. So he's gone very deep and wide through T4. Or for T3, sorry. Then coming down into T4. Ottens gets good on the brakes. And, ooh, naughty from to Blanche there. Hits into the back of Ottens and takes the position and drives off. So I don't think our stewards will quite like to see those kind of things. Doesn't give the position back. And that moment, obviously, something that we caught as we were switching over to it. So to Blanche, still going to hold off Ryan Ottens from Kaike. We see Strauss is in front of him on the timing sheet. Ansel just behind Ottens here. It's a good line coming out here from Ottens. Ottens going to have a little look-see on the inside. Not a place you normally see people get work done. To Blanche, very wide going out. And brilliant bit of driving coming in from Ottens in the AMG there from Kaike Racing. The 164 gets the work done into the chicane. And look very clean indeed. Blanche, again, not done. He's got the slip. He's going to have a look. Antal also now entering into this little battle for what would be 20th place, held on by Ryan Ottens. Antal looking very good indeed, coming out into T3. Needs to manage the oversteer, needs to balance the power that he can get out. Hasn't really nailed the exit at all. And that's stopped him being able to get a little bit closer to Antal. He needs to use the power of the BMW. Ottens, though, does seem to be struggling to run away from these two drivers, though. So it feels like he's being continuously pressured to defend by Blanche. Obviously, they've had a little coming together as well. So Ottens will know that Blanche is here to party and party hard if he is here to party. Ryan here in the chat just saying that there's feels when I don't invite him to commentate with me. And I will just say that Ryan is a very busy man, obviously with all of his RCI commitments that he does. So I didn't want to drag him away from potentially that. But the fact that he's watching, maybe he'll be able to join me on a Wednesday to do some GT4 stuff. That would be quite cool. We get some UK representation into this ZA racing. I've always enjoyed Ryan's company, and of course Barcelona in Spain, one of his favorite tracks. So it would have been quite fitting for him to be here. We'll see what his schedule's like. Jansen as Deploy and De Kock trying to get this 15th place off of his hands. 21 minutes of racing remain. We heard our race director whisper subtly into our ears that we had reached the halfway mark in this journey here at Catalonia. And I am so excited to see what the 6-race season has in store for us. So a little bit of a shorter season. I think things going the right way with keeping people interested and keeping the league as exciting as possible. Jan a little bit deep into T3. Deploy and De Kock also not quite getting the exit out of T2 for them. Put pressure into T1. But it's Absmeyer and McCall that are really... yeah, keeping the social distancing not in effect. I mean, McCall has been on the back end of Absmeyer since the very start. He's not allowed him to run away. Ginetta sounds pretty awesome as it screams through. I do like the little gear shift sounds as well, up and down through the gearbox. Down the straights, it does seem like the Ginetta going to hold off the likes of McCall. We've got another gap developing, and it is Junior, of course, who we get to be putting some pressure on. So the chat has informed me that young Junior has made his way up from 20th to 13th place here, and he's still on the charge. So you're gonna have to see just what Junior can do. Morgan's younger brother in that beautiful purple Mercedes, chasing down the 213 Audi of Nathan LaRue. Over the line they go. LaRue with a 156.1, McCall with a 155.8. So McCall has the pace, he has the power, and he has the line to do so. And it's going to be late coming out from Nathan LaRue here. He's going to mess up turn 2's exit. He wants to set himself up for a good T3 because that's make or break. But he's taken a little bit too much curb. Had to correct the car. And that's going to allow McCall to get alongside almost into T4. If he gets late on the brakes, he will. And he does. And absolutely not seen there by Nathan LaRue at all. He didn't think that he would have to defend the inside line. He thought that he would be able to brake at the same sort of point. But we see the Mercedes going in and doing what it's needed to do. And Junior McCall will move himself up to 12th place, so almost into the top 10. An exciting race in the mid-pack indeed. Currently, let's have a look at our top 10. Jason Absmeyer up at the top of the order, followed up by Morgan McCall, Charles Wilkin in 3rd, Keegan Masters in 4th, Bruno Kedili in 5th, Christos Besson holds down 6th place, Johan Krobler in 7th, Darren Peens in 8th, Jared van Bergen in 9th, Johannes Kraling in 10th, Warwick Stewart in 11th, 12th for Junior McCall, Nathan LaRue in 13th, Warren Lee Sheehan in 14th, Victor de Kock in 15th, Sebastian Janssen in 16th, Mornay Deploy in 17th, Mornay Strauss 18th place, 19th for Sean Schutter, Ryan Ottens in 20th, Mark Antel in 21st, Stephen De Blanche in 22nd, Stark Buerter in 23rd, Kurt Glashigan in 24th, Tebo Malotto in 25th, 26th for Hansi Myberg, Pete Duplessis in 27th, 28th for Joe Gaber, Stuart Andrews in 29th, 30th for Daniel Rowe, and that will be 29th for Stuart Andrews. Everyone else is retired below that. So 32 drivers started. We still have 29 drivers here. A pretty good finish rate so far. 17 minutes remaining, and a drive-through penalty coming out from Masters. He's pushed the limits too far now. And Keegan Masters, the number 18, being given that drive-through penalty. And this is certainly going to benefit Bruno Kedili. He's right behind. He's within a second's reach of Masters. Him having to drive through is going to be insane. I just can't go back enough. I tried to see it off screen if I could get it for T1, but McCall here in first place. Jason Absmeyer settles down for second. He now has to get onto the chase of McCall, and I wish I could probably find it in a replay file. Would it be? Let's go and see if we can. Let's cheat the system. So we're breaking the rules a little bit. So just bear with me. We want to see what happened here. McCall still in the lead here. Okay, so it's coming down into T5, it looks like. Yeah, that's the exit to T4. A little bit of a gap left there. Jason saw the move coming. Comes back for the cut back through. They go side by side down towards T6. Must have been somewhere around here. May have gone back a little bit too far, but we are in this adventure now, so we're just sticking with it. We want to see what happened up at the front. We might have to come back and review another overtake again, but around the outside, potentially down to the big left-hander. Does he cut back in? Oh! It was worth coming back for Morgan McCall. What a move coming out from him. That was worth coming back for. Let's just get it one more time here. Let's get a little heli-cam view. Oh! Morgan with the moves. That is how we saw the switch for first place come in. Brilliant bit of driving coming out from Morgan. Let's go back to driving live. McCall still leads on Absmeyer, so we haven't missed too much in going back to see it, and we had to see it. I hope the chat appreciates it. Can we get some McCalls in chat? Thank you. That was amazing bit of driving from the ATK driver. Now the attack from Absmeyer coming down. Masters into the pit to serve his drive-through. That's going to allow Bruno Kadili to get up to 4th place. And you just see the attack from these two drivers has not stopped. Attack, defend, attack, defend. Now it's up to Morgan to hold Absmeyer back. And I always love seeing these two race each other on track for sure. Good bit of racecraft being shown by them. So we see Masters' drive-through has been cleared. Going to come out of the pit box. Is he a little bit late? Oh, Jason trying to get as close as he can to the back end here of McCall through T5. This is great. Absolutely great. Morgan McCall holds Absmeyer back. And of course, McCall had that pole position to start the race off. It was taken off of him by Jason. He chased him down and gets the move done on almost lap 14 here. So following for 14 laps before it takes place. Oh, the Ginetta getting absolutely incredibly close to the back end of the Mercedes. 888 has to hold him back down into the chicane shortly, which isn't a place you can really get too much done. We've seen it being done, but if you defend it well enough, it's yours to lose, really. A lot of speed being carried out by the Ginetta down. He's lost a car length on the exit, though, to a better exit by the Mercedes. And I still think that he's going to manage to hold him down. Bastian Janssen, he's on our timing sheet at the moment. Nathan LaRue's on our timing sheet at the moment, and that's because he's got the pressure of De Kock going alongside. Are we going to see another move coming down at the end of the straight? We will. Round the outside this time. It goes a Camaro, but the inside line defended by the 213 of LaRue. That's going to force Victor to have to rethink himself, and we see the Camaro trying to overtake its front wheels, and it can't, and LaRue's gone wide. He's touched the grass, and that will be through for De Kock. So De Kock up into 13th place. LaRue drops down to 14th. Grayling and Masters, they are now on the Hawk watch here. We see their timing sheet alerting me to a battle that is imminent between the two. We've seen Masters get himself up to 4th place before serving that drive-through penalty. We see Schutter with another drive-through to his name in 20th, to Blanche in 22nd with a drive-through. So pushing the track limits too far have caused incidents in the field already. Of course, drive-throughs being given here are by the in-game penalties. That's where they've exceeded the limits. They pushed it a little bit too far, and they now have to go and serve that in the naughty corner. Railing maybe wants to have a little look on the inside of T5. Not going to be able to do it here, but the exit is good from the Aston Martin. It's decent from Van Bergen, but the 777 BMW just getting on that loud pedal a bit quicker has allowed him to get in before T6. It's a toughy place to get by. The fast right-hander also not an easy place. It looks like the Aston throwing himself through. That was a brilliant bit of driving from the Aston as well. Alongside, they will go down the back stretch, and onto the braking zone. We've seen the inside line is the one that you want. He's going to try with the cutback here from the number 18. He's going to get himself alongside, but it's not alongside enough. He's still being given that room from that number 777, or sorry, the number 16 of Bag, and a little touch coming out. Masters going to back off. He knows that he touched him and caused a little bit of a nuisance for the number 16, so he backs out and will try again. That's the gentlemanly driving you want to see here, really. Mistakes happen, and just make sure that it's not a big mistake at the back end. It's going to be Hrobly here from Team Tryhard trying to hold Basson at bay. So the am to play Renaissance, Rensport, sorry, driver, going to be putting some pressure on to the number 15 Audi. He's holding down 5th place for the minutes. T4 not where Basson is going to find the braking zone like he had down to T1. So Junior McCall, you're going to just get a little update for him. The 144, 11th place for him. He's got past Stewart who was in 12th. He's got Masters in front of him, trying to obviously get himself into the top 10. That's where it would be great for him, as very much possible, because Masters and Grayling are in that little battle that we saw. So if Grayling and Masters continue to cost each other time, watch out for Junior McCall. Good exit coming out from Absmeyer out of the final exit on lap 19. They're going to start lap 20. Sorry, lap 18. We're going to start lap 19. 8 minutes left of racing to go. McCall doing a great job at holding off Absmeyer here for the lead. They really have gapped themselves a little bit of space to Wilkin, but he is closing in, hey? So don't discount this man. He is closing in on McCall and Absmeyer, and they are fighting it out. That time being cost in doing so. The defensive lines being taken every now and then are the ones that are important. Morgan wants to hold the inside line. He is allowed to come back across the track because Absmeyer isn't there to look. The AMG doing a great job to hold down first place. Robert here is definitely feeling that pressure coming in from that black and blue BMW, the number 37, trying to force probably here into that error, even if it's just track limits. Forcing somebody to have to try and stick it when they're gaining an advantage just to hold a position could get them a drive-through penalty. So here at Barcelona, if they're not going to make mistakes, they might make some track cuts. We've seen those drive-throughs come through. 7 minutes left to go at round 1 here at Barcelona. It's been great racing so far. McCall up at the front has definitely, to me, McCall driver of the day so far. Junior could potentially be up there as well, just with his sort of last to start or last to first in his own progress book. Not really to first. His brother holds that down, but he's done a great job to get up the order. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is all for position, I believe. We've got Sheehan going around the outside. He's a bit late on the outside braking there. Strauss going to go through here, and a lot of touching coming down from the cars in the background. Janssen and Deploy will touch, and Sheehan wants to come back across the line here to try and get through that right-hander before the chicane. But this is a battle for position just behind them. Oh, and it will be Deploy. He's out of touch, and it will be Ottens to drive. He couldn't really avoid that. Let's see if we can get a little... 30 seconds back. Not too far at all, really. Let's see what we got. The one, or the number 33, comes down. He's got the 64 in front. He has to get onto the brakes. Ottens is being pressured by the 111. Oh, and it looked like Ottens hit the rear left quarter panel there. Spun, deploy around. I think he will survive it. So I'm not sure he's going to dive into the pits. He stays out. He might lose to that 111 of Antel as we drive back to live. Yeah, it is Keegan Masters, GTC champion, of course, correct. And I believe we've also got Daniel Rowe here. I believe he also drives GTC. I might stand to be corrected. And we've of course got Charles Wilkin, who's done plenty of stuff in the motorsport scene. So Deploy still going to feel that pressure from Antel. And they've got Glashigan coming into this. Oh, he's gone very wide. Deploy's gone wide. That's allowed Antel and Glashigan to get through. Potentially going to allow Stark Boertier to have a look as well. 4 minutes and 26 seconds on the clock. Let's call it 4:20 to round off. And the race is still getting hot and heated. The BMW now going to try on the outside. Deploy just has to hold the inside line. You see Stark Boertier having to get hard on the anchors in the number 81. And unfortunately isn't able to get a little bit closer to Deploy. But Deploy's car has been a little bit battered too. So potentially losing some tenths. Absmeyer, he's just taken the lead back. So let's jump back 30 seconds and see if this is where we can see it. It is going to be on the inside of T3 that it looks like Absmeyer going to get a little nose ahead. Now onto the brakes for T4, giving each other plenty of room to do so. Wide for McCall. This could have been where Absmeyer did get that move done. Now he has to defend into T5 against McCall. He lost out here before. McCall having a little look-see coming down. They were definitely dragging it down, and it looked like Absmeyer came out before T6. Back to live just before we go round to T12 and 13. It looks like Absmeyer has got ahead, but he's got himself a drive-through penalty, and that's absolutely massive here. Absmeyer going to have to go and serve that drive-through penalty. This is going to drop him down the order. McCall going to get himself promoted. Wilkin going to get promoted, and potentially Kadili too. You do see that those drivers are all on the back end. They are going to benefit off of this. Jason Absmeyer going to stay out a little bit longer here, but it's not going to be enough. That drive-through penalty is there for Absmeyer. He's got 1 lap left to serve it. So after this lap, he will be going in. He's trying to give himself some space to as many cars behind as he can. He doesn't want to drop down the order. That's devastating coming out for Absmeyer. McCall, he's done what he needs to do. He just has to hold this position now. Wilkin, he's still on that charge, and he's got Kadili putting some pressure on as well. So with 2 minutes left of the race, we see the Aston Martin potentially going to lose out to a Janetta if he's not careful. The number 25, of course, Kadili and Kadili and Wilkin are guys that have driven together for plenty of hours in the sim. They've given each other plenty of racing on track, and it looks like the inside line going to be looked at by Bruno. He's looking to take it now. Wilkin versus Kadili down towards T6. It looks like the number 25 is going to lose out there to the number 91 of Kadili, who goes up to 3rd place. Absmeyer, of course, leads the race with the drive-through penalty. Sheehan's picked one up too. He's going to drop down from 20th place. Wilkin does not want to lose out the potential to get more points here to the likes of Kadili. Morgan McCall up in 2nd place will take first off of Absmeyer when he needs to. You can almost see McCall backing off a little bit. He knows that he doesn't have to put on too much pressure now. He just has to make sure he doesn't get a drive-through penalty. He's probably on the last track limits himself as well. Both drivers being pushed to the limits. And right now, it's going to be Absmeyer having to go into the pits with a minute left of racing to go. And here he will go into the pits. Shame indeed. But that is the racing. That is the nature. That is the way that the cookie crumbles. And McCall will resume the lead of the race on the final lap here of round 1 of the Raceface.Pro GT4 season. And it's incredible. 6 rounds of racing will still come. If round 1 is anything to go by, an absolute blast. And Jason Absmeyer now in the pit serving that drive-through penalty. He's got Basson and Grobler coming down the start-finish straight. They're going to carry a lot of speed coming down, and they're going to take those positions off of Jason as he now drops down to potentially 6th place after serving it. Morgan McCall on the final lap here is going to be holding down 1st place. Kadili in 2nd place. Wilkin in 3rd. Basson jumps up to 4th after the drive-through will go through. This is our final lap, so if anyone picks up a drive-through now, that's going to be detrimental to them. McCall, he's got 1.9 seconds to Kadili behind him. The number 888 blacked out AMG for ATK Academy has had an incredible drive here so far. And so far, what would seem like a deserved win at the end of the day. Great fight between ATK and White Rabbit, something that I like to see when I get to shoutcast races. This time round, ATK coming out on top here in 1st place. Bruno Kadili, of course, the other White Rabbit Gaming driver, will secure a 2nd place. It won't be Absmeyer to take it, but it will be McCall here. He's only got the chicane to do. Great work from Kadili to close the gap down so far. And this is it. He started in pole. He lost out to Jason early on, but he followed him for a good portion of laps. And Morgan McCall will cross the line in 1st place here for our opening round at Barcelona. Bruno Kadili with a well-deserved 2nd. Charles Wilkin taking home 3rd to round out the podium. Christos Basson, the number 37 amped to play Rensport BMW. A big leap in where he started in the grid. A good race looking like it's come out for them. The number 37 flashes his lights and crosses the line in 4th. Johan Grobler for Team Tryhard in 5th. Jason licking the wounds of 6th place in the number 90 Janetta. Darren Peens, the 171 top finishing Cayman, will take home 7th place. Keegan Masters will take home 8th overall. Jared van Bergen in 9th place. Another BMW, followed up by BMW from Johannes Grayling and Retro Sim Slipstream. Junior McCall in 11th place. Victor de Kock takes home 12th. It will be Warwick Stewart to take home 13th place. Corne Strauss in 14th over the line. Ryan Ottens in 15th. Kurt Glashigan takes home 17th. Antel 16th. Corne Deploy 18th. Buerta in 19th. Sebastian Janssen. Has he run out of fuel? Janssen has run out of fuel. On the line, Gaber will take 20th. Myberg in 21st. Janssen has run out of fuel. Someone needs to give that man a push. Duplessis in 22nd. Janssen still needs to finish. And he's on the line, and it's cars that will finish in front of him. Schutter in 21st. Todd Blanche in 26th. LaRue will take home 27th. And Janssen here might get a DNF if he doesn't cross the line. He is rolling. So we get a little onboard here. Can someone give this man a push? He's rolling. Okay, so he's rolling slowly down the start-finish straights. We need a push for our man Janssen down. We still have. Is anybody out on track to push him around? Can somebody help our man Janssen? I mean, it's there. He's got it. Is he rolling? Has he stopped? Nope. He's still rolling. It is still downhill. You're right, Hendricks. It's downhill. He's got this. I don't think anybody is out on track. Janssen just wants to... I mean, if he doesn't finish, then Malorto... I don't understand how Malorto's finished in 25th already if Janssen hasn't crossed the line. So he's going to drop off. And he has. Janssen has failed to finish the race. And that will be our round here at Barcelona, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been great. I wanted to get some drivers in here for an interview after the race. I have forgotten to get that up though. So we will start doing that from next week. Guys, join me again tomorrow though for the GT3 series. I'll try and get a driver in there tomorrow. Same time, same place. We'll be at Barcelona again in the GT3 Pro class. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. And we'll be back tomorrow.